The first wave of attacks came without warning. Jackson Martinez watched through the viewport of the orbital defense station as the Kepler 442b Colonies' shields flickered and died under the relentless bombardment. The alien vessels, sleek obsidian things that seemed to absorb light itself, moved with predatory grace through the debris field that had once been humanity's most prosperous outer colony. "Sir, we're receiving the final transmission from New Geneva." Communications Officer Lily Chen's voice carried the weight of witnessed horror. Her fingers trembled as she adjusted the frequency, trying to maintain the connection through the electromagnetic interference. They're requesting immediate evacuation." Jackson's jaw tightened. In the span of 72 hours, the entities the xenobiologist had designated as the Void Collective had systematically eliminated 12 human colonies. Not conquered, eliminated. No prisoners, no negotiations, no demands. Just complete methodical annihilation. "Patch it through," Jackson ordered. The desperate voices of New Geneva's remaining population filled the command center. Children crying, adults pleading, the static-laden final words of Colony Administrator Williams. "Tell Earth. Tell them we held the line as long as we could. Tell them to remember us," and then silence. Lily's dark eyes met Jackson's across the command center. 26 years old, she had graduated top of her class from the Mars Naval Academy. She'd never expected her first deep space assignment to become humanity's last stand. "Commander Martinez," she said, her voice steadying with resolve. "I'm detecting massive gravitational distortions in the Sol system. They're coming for Earth." Jackson nodded grimly. The reports had been flooding in for days. The Void Collective didn't just destroy, they consumed. Entire star systems left as empty expanses of space, their matter converted into fuel for the alien fleet. Humanity had spread across 47 worlds, believing their diaspora would ensure survival. They had been wrong. "Signal Fleet Command," Jackson commanded. "Tell them we're implementing Protocol Omega." Lily's hands paused over her console. Protocol Omega was theoretical, a last resort strategy developed by Earth's top military strategists for an extinction-level threat. It had never been tested, because it required a sacrifice no one believed humanity would ever need to make. "Sir, are you certain?" "The casualties will be unacceptable under normal circumstances," Jackson finished. "But these aren't normal circumstances, Lieutenant. We're about to show these things what happens when you threaten our homeworld." As Lily transmitted the coded message, Jackson reflected on humanity's greatest weakness that had become its greatest strength. Unlike the other species they'd encountered among the stars, humans were irrationally attached to their birth world. While the Centaurans had abandoned their original planet for better worlds, and the Vegan Confederacy spread their civilization across multiple systems without favoring any particular world, humans always looked back to Earth. The xenopsychologists had called it primitive, inefficient, an evolutionary dead end that would limit human expansion. They had been spectacularly wrong. Within hours, the response began. From every human world, every colony, every space station and asteroid mining operation, the message was the same. Acknowledged. Returning home, the Void Collective had expected humanity to scatter, to preserve their species through dispersal. Instead, 60 billion humans began the greatest migration in galactic history. Not away from Earth, toward it. Jackson watched the tactical displays as humanity's entire civilization contracted like a closing fist. Merchant vessels became troop transports. Luxury liners carried scientific equipment. Even the generation ships, humanity's longest journeys to the farthest stars, turned around and burned their engines to the breaking point. "Oh my God," Lily whispered, monitoring the communications traffic. "The entire Tau Ceti colony is coming home. They're stripping their industrial base, loading everything onto cargo haulers. Commander, they're bringing their entire planetary defense grid with them." "And the others?" "Alpha Centauri is dismantling their orbital forges. Gliesa 581 is evacuating their entire population." She looked up, awe in her voice. "Sir, they're not running away. They're bringing everything they've built in 300 years of expansion back to Earth." Jackson allowed himself a grim smile. "That's what makes us human, Lily. We don't abandon family." The Void Collective arrived at the edge of the Sol system expecting to find a demoralized, scattered species. Instead, they encountered something unprecedented in their million-year conquest of the galaxy. An entire interstellar civilization that had willingly compressed itself into a single star system, turning their homeworld into the most heavily defended position in known space. Earth's surface was invisible beneath the overlapping shields of 100 colony defense systems. The asteroid belt had been converted into a maze of weapon platforms using technology from 47 different worlds. Mars hosted the combined industrial capacity of humanity's entire expansion, churning out weapons designed from the collective knowledge of 3 centuries of human innovation. And in the outer system, waiting like patient predators, were the humans themselves. Not the scattered colonial populations the Void Collective had been systematically destroying, but 60 billion humans united by a single, burning purpose: the defense of home. Jackson stood on the bridge of the UES Terran Defiance, humanity's first truly unified battle fleet behind him. Beside him, Lily coordinated communications with defense networks that spanned from Mercury to Pluto. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," she reported. "It sounds like confusion. The translation algorithms suggest they're asking each other why we didn't scatter." Jackson activated the fleet-wide channel. His voice carried to every human ship, every defense platform, every bunker and shelter across the Sol system. "They wiped out our colonies," he said simply. "Now let's show them why we call this place home." The Battle of Sol lasted 3 days. When it ended, the Void Collective was gone. Not retreated, but erased from existence by a species that had just demonstrated the most important lesson in galactic warfare: never threaten something a human calls home. And in the aftermath, as humanity began the long process of rebuilding their scattered colonies, they carried with them a new understanding. They were not just a species that had survived. They were a species that had chosen family over survival, and in doing so, had achieved both. The stars belonged to humanity now, all of them.